Welcome to the Trip Tales podcast with me, Kelsey Graves. Let's jump into a new episode exploring a vacation destination that you'll want all the details about. Hey everyone, welcome back to Trip Tales. Today we are going to be escaping to beautiful Turks and Caicos. It's funny, for those of you regular listeners, you know that on episode 36 we had a trip fails episode about a listener's underwhelming experience at beaches Turks and Caicos, which led to loads of DMs about people feeling the same disappointment about beaches and plenty who have a deep love for beaches Turks and Caicos. So we had a rebuttal episode, it's episode 42, where two listeners share why they and their families love beaches Turks and Caicos. Both are really fabulous episodes, and I highly recommend listening to both to make your own decision if you are considering this resort. Actually, one of my good friends got back from beaches Turks and Caicos a couple days ago, and she called me last night because she had listened to both episodes to give me her rundown of the resort. Now, this friend doesn't stay at a lot of all-inclusives, but does stay at a lot of nice hotels. Her father-in-law was turning 70 and wanted his 70th birthday to be somewhere where the entire family could enjoy, little kids to adults, where they didn't have to lift a finger or think about too much. So he booked the Key West townhomes in beaches Turks and Caicos with a butler. She said the full week was perfect weather, which she's like, I can't remember the last time I was on a vacation where the weather was so blissfully perfect, mid 70s and sunny every single day. She said Turks and Caicos in general is just stunning. The beach had turquoise water, gorgeous sand. But after spending the first few days there, she said they were thankful that they had listened to all of the Trip Tales episodes because it helped them set their expectations properly. She said there were definitely a few things where they were like, in terms of food and service. She said after the first 3 days, they just kind of equated it to an on-land cruise ship experience. She did say staying in the Key West area with a butler was clutch and they would probably never do it any other way. She said the resort was at full capacity and that food lines were extremely long, but the butler was able to bring them food to their pool chairs or their beach chairs, which made all the difference in the world. She said the butler service was phenomenal, but outside of the butler, service was mediocre to poor because you can't tip, which does come up on both of my episodes. Such a super bummer because a lot of us love to tip our amazing servers and show them that appreciation. And it helps them like their jobs better. I don't know the reasoning behind all of this, but she did feel like because she couldn't tip, she felt bad and that the service wasn't that great. She joked that when she would walk around, she was like, shoot, am I snobby now because I'm not liking the super fancy all-inclusive? Again, she said the food was decent. The amenities are a little tired. They did escape to the Ritz one night for a dinner, and she said she was just like inhaling the lobby smell. And she said that was the best meal of their trip. Like I said, they do like a nice hotel. But she said overall, they had a wonderful trip. The kids had a ball. And that her father-in-law was super pleased with his 70th birthday there. So again, a great trip. She didn't have to pay for it. Her father-in-law did. If someone wanted to pay for me to go there, I'd probably go there too. But she was happy that her expectations were set appropriately. Now, one of the DMs I received following the Beaches Turks Trip Fails episode was from my friend Faith. And she shared that a resort called 7 Stars in Turks and Caicos, which is right near beaches, in her opinion, is a much better option. She's been to Turks and Caicos 3 times and to 7 Stars Resort 2 times, and she's going to tell us all about it today. So welcome, Faith. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about Turks and Caicos.
I start every episode with a rapid fire get to know you. So tell everyone where you live, what you do, and about your family.
So I live in Nashville, Tennessee, suburb Brentwood, and I know Kelsey from our dance studio. Our daughters dance together on the company team. I work in medical sales, so I work for a pediatric oncology company, and I'm an account manager here in the Southeast. And like I said, I have a daughter who dances. She's 7 years old, Palmer, and I have a son who's 3 years old named James.
And fun fact, Faith and her family happened to be on the same Disney Wish cruise sailing that I was on last October that got stuck at sea for 2 extra days due to Port Canaveral closing during Hurricane Milton. We hadn't planned it this way. We didn't even know that we were going on the same sailing until a couple months before the cruise. But as many of you know, that cruise sailing resulted in kind of the first trip fails episode, episode 34, Hurricane on the High Seas. It's a very entertaining episode, and I highly recommend listening to our wild adventure riding out Hurricane Milton on a cruise ship. I know we are here to talk about Turks and Caicos today, but since I have you on here, super briefly, what were your overall thoughts on your first Disney cruise experience?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I have enough time to share my thoughts. It was an experience, but I will say that time heals everything because when we got off the boat, or when we were on the boat, we said, never again. We're not cruise people. This won't happen again. Like, we are not doing this. We're more of like, keep me on land. But the kids are begging to go back, like begging. Almost every day they bring it up. And so we're like, well, maybe it wouldn't be that bad. Like, we didn't go during hurricane season and we just did our initial plan of like 3 nights, 4 days. And then on the back end, go back to Grand Lakes, which we still rave about Grand Lakes. We also stayed at Grand Lakes prior to the cruise.
Yeah,
Like
Grand
you all.
Lakes is the JW Marriott and Ritz in Orlando that kind of share this massive property with pools and kids clubs and all this stuff to do. And it's a really great place to chill before or after a cruise because it's like the complete opposite of a cruise.
Complete opposite. And I see why, like, doing it after a cruise, you really need to decompress after that cruise. So I will say when we were on the boat, we were shared the exact same sentiment. Get me off of this boat. But now that that's kind of in the past and my kids are begging to go, we are thinking, well, maybe we could make this happen, but we would never go just our family. We would only sign up for that if another family went with us because you have to have that. I feel like if we
Yeah.
didn't have other people on the cruise ship that we knew, I think it would have been an even worse experience.
Yeah, it's funny. My kids are kind of the same way. They're starting to beg again. And now they're seeing that there's the new ship out, the Treasure, that has, and
Mhm.
some of their friends are going on it. And they're always like, I don't know, you're going to have to talk to mom. I don't think she's
Yep.
ever getting on one again. So, I mean, I don't think I could ever get my husband to pay another dollar towards a cruise line. But again, we shall see. And I really think the moral of the story is just don't go in October. Like my mom was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, we're going to get the
Yep.
1 week that's gorgeous. And it's like,
Yep.
no. It's too
Yep.
rocky. Too many things can go wrong. And yeah, I'm
Agreed.
not as close to you in booking another one, but I do see my kids begging too. So we'll see. Maybe mine will grow out of it by the time they want to
Yeah.
book another
Well,
one.
and the new boat has Spider-Man on the front.
Oh,
So
cute.
yeah, James is huge into Spider-Man. So he is like, I need to go back and see Spidey.
Yeah, I feel like it's more adventure themed, whereas the
Yes.
Wish is like kind of whimsical
Yes.
themed. Okay, well, you go and you can do an episode about it.
Yeah. Report
Okay.
back.
Today we aren't talking about cruising. We are talking about Seven Stars Resort in Turks and Caicos, which you've been to a couple times. This resort is brand new to me. So tell everyone how you first learned about this resort.
So we first learned about Seven Stars from our tried and true travel agent. I'll do a plug for her. She's great. Her name is Rachel Lackey. She is with a company here, her company called Vacations Booked. So she's based here in Nashville, but she books all over the country, all over the world. And she's just wonderful. And the first time we booked with her, we went to the Palms, which we really liked, but she always raves about Seven Stars. I think at the time the Palms maybe was a little bit more affordable, but we switched to Seven Stars on her recommendation. And fun fact, Seven Stars does a huge sale on their like rack rate every Cyber Monday. And you get like 40% off your rack rate. And your travel agent can almost always get that exact same rate. So that's kind of, I think, how we initially were like, let's try Seven Stars. It was a step above the Palms, but we were able to get a really good rate.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
We will put her information in the show notes. So if any of y'all are wanting to try this and you want to try to get that deal, you could reach out to her and be like, can we try to get this going on Cyber Monday?
Yep.
So you've been to Turks 3 times, like you said. The first time in May 2019, you stayed at the Palm. You went back in May 2022 and then May 2023. So y'all love Turks. At this point, each time was an adults-only trip, but you did mention to me that it is super kid-friendly as well. And I found that in my own research that it looks to be very kid-friendly. So let's talk about getting there. How are the flights to Turks, customs, the Turks airport, all of that?
We typically will always fly American. American is probably our least favorite airline, especially after our last trip. We just had a lot of issues getting there. But typically, you'll fly from Nashville to Charlotte or Miami, and then from there go to Turks and Caicos. Typically, getting there, there's no issues with like tight connections, but American does like to squeeze those in there. So just being very cognizant of your connection time, and because typically you're booking these flights 9 months in advance, and so they keep moving it up, right? And so even if you think they're going to hold the plane for you, American Airlines will not hold the plane for you. When we landed in Charlotte on this last trip to go, there was like 15 of us, and we were delayed because of their maintenance issues, etc. And they would not hold the gate, and we were literally like 3 gates down.
Oh my
We
gosh,
all
15
ran
of
up to the
you?
gate. Yeah, we all ran up to the gate and we could see the plane. The plane was right there. They had already closed the door, would not open the door for any of us.
Ugh,
So we
that's
all
the
got stuck.
worst.
It was terrible. So we all got stuck at, in Charlotte, and it was like, I don't know, lunchtime. So, but it was just the last flight out. So we were stuck. And the accommodations they put us in were less than appeasable.
So you didn't even get to get out that day. You missed a day of your vacation.
Yep.
Oh, painful.
Yeah, it was painful. So we missed a day, and we stayed at this. Well, they put us up at it was just not a good hotel. And so thankfully we had a lot of Marriott hotel points. So we were able to get a nicer hotel and switch. But yeah, we didn't get to leave till the next morning. However, the Seven Stars was very accommodating because I was worried like they're going to charge us for this night. And you're having to move flights around and all of that, but they were able to take that night off, and we were able to add it to the back end of our trip, which was really nice because you don't always get to do that, right?
So you were able to stay an extra night and then you changed your flights for the way back?
Yep,
Whoa, look
yep,
at you. That sounds
yeah.
like so complicated.
It was kind of like the Disney cruise.
Yeah, true. True.
Um, Getting there, so you can buy. I don't know what exactly the name of it is. Maybe Fast Pass, where you can kind of fast pass your way through customs upon arrival, which is helpful. But we found it to be more helpful when you're departing. We did not purchase it when we were departing, but when we were leaving Turks and Caicos in Providenciales, their airport is so much smaller than most of these other Caribbean islands because their tourism industry is very new in comparison to a lot of Caribbean islands. So we were in customs for or not customs, through security for like 2+ hours.
The fast pass thing, I actually just applied for global entry last night. It took forever. It took like 35
Really?
minutes to get through the 9 forms. Then I had to do it for my husband. I was like, sit next to me.
Yeah.
Um, but I noticed that that is only for coming back into America, global
Yeah.
entry, which I am pumped for because I am like, I am not standing for 2 hours again in BNA to try to get back into the country. But the fast thing, I did see options for that. And I think it's for
Yep.
like other countries.
Yep.
Did your travel agent offer that to you, or how did you even know that you could purchase that?
Yeah. She mentioned it to us.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
She mentioned it to us, and she highly recommended it. But looking back, I would do it for both arrival and departure.
Okay, got it.
But if I had to pick one, I would do departure.
Okay. And this is kind of off topic, but I just know because we've had lots of conversations in real life that you guys typically have a lot of Marriott points. Is that from travel, a Marriott credit card? Like, where are you getting all your Marriott points? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a mix. So we use the Marriott credit card. You really get your most points though using your Marriott credit card at a Marriott property. You get like 2.5 points on the dollar or 2 points on the dollar. It's a much better redemption, like cash out, if you will. But when I travel, I just do Marriott, and
Okay.
where I have titanium elite status just with travel and the credit card over the last 10 years, it adds up quicker, but it's definitely their point system is not as good as it used to be. It used
I
to
know
be
there was just
really,
news that came out that they raised all the points
Mhm.
redemption rates. So
It
it's
used to be
getting
so much
worse.
better. It's getting worse.
Stinks.
Yeah, it used to be like you could like for our honeymoon, not honeymoon, after our honeymoon, like a year anniversary, we went to Hawaii and we like booked the whole trip at like the four St. Regis. It was a St. Regis for like 300,000 points. And now you can get like one night for 100,000 points.
Yeah. Well, you might stick with Marriott for a little bit longer since you're a business traveler, but I'm going to do an episode next week or actually the following week on how the Chase travel credit cards
Yes, I want to hear
transferring to
that.
Hyatt is blowing my mind. Like
Okay, I heard
you
you
can
talk
get
about that.
amazing resorts like Grand Hyatts in Bahamas for like 25,000 a night. It is literally, I feel like I'm robbing people. I am so obsessed. And it is known in the points world that like the Chase particular credit card transfer to Hyatt, they've got this like partnership is the best redemption rate out there. I just like booked all these hotels for our Grand Canyon trip, a really swanky like boutique hotel in Cabo for Joe and I this summer. And I'm just like, is this real? So I'm
That's
going to do a whole
amazing.
episode, which it's such a like beginner thing, but for some of us that don't like obsess over points and miles and listen to all the people, it's such a big
Yeah.
complicated beast that sometimes it's nice to just hear like what exactly someone else is doing. So I'm going to do an episode on that because I'm just like loving it at the moment.
Well, we would love to hear it because we've talked about, we were just talking about this. I'm like, we need to switch credit cards because I'm earning more points from Marriott staying at Marriott properties versus the credit card because it's just you get like a point for every dollar you spend, so it doesn't equate to much.
Yeah.
Um,
And
but we
switching
need
is
to
good
switch.
from time to time because then you get those introductory offer bonuses where you get like 60K or 80K points
Absolutely.
within like 3 months. And then
Yeah,
that pays for hotels like the next year for travel and stuff. So,
absolutely.
anyways,
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
Okay, back to Turks and Caicos. How do you typically get from the airport to the resort, specifically for 7 stars?
So we again work with our travel agent and she schedules a driver.
Perfect.
Yep.
And then tell us about arriving to the resort, what it looks like, what it feels like pulling up after a long day of travel. Hey, Trip Tales listeners, I'll keep this short. If you're loving the podcast, leaving a review or buying me a coffee is the quickest way to show your support, and it will ensure that these amazing trip stories keep coming. Leave a review wherever you are listening to this podcast, or buy me a coffee at the link in the show notes, and I'll literally do a happy dance when it comes through. Okay, back to the show.
So when you pull up, it is gated. Just got two entry gates, entry exit gates. Sometimes there's a guard there. I don't know if that's all day long, but typically there's security. So you feel again, we feel very safe in Turks and Caicos, but it's like that extra layer of security. It is a smaller resort, so everything in Turks and Caicos is it's not a high story type of island. The Ritz is by far the tallest resort on the island, and I think it's 12 floors.
Oh, wow.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not that big.
So you're not
Or
getting
it's not
those like 40 floor, like high
correct.
rise
You're
hotels.
not
Yeah.
getting the high rise hotels. Yeah, when the Ritz was coming into Turks and Caicos, there was a lot of disgruntled tourists and locals that were like, we don't want this. We don't want that to kind of ruin the landscape. So it's a pretty decent sized resort, but you're not getting the height as you would in like, some of these bigger touristy
Yeah. It kind of
areas.
feels like low and intimate and boutiquey or whatever.
Yes, boutiquey. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Very boutiquey, very homey. Upon arrival, of course, everyone's welcoming you and greeting you, and they have a little like cocktail to serve you upon, entering the property. And then they kind of take you to an area that you sit, that they seat you in until they're ready to kind of get you checked in. And if you have kids, which we've never had our kids with us, but when we're checking in, there's always a family with kids, and they always give them like these stuffed crabs, like a cute little stuffed animal, and
Oh
like
my
stuff to
gosh,
do
my
while the
kids would
parents.
flip over that.
Yes,
It's
we
like the
actually
little
bought one.
things.
Yeah, it's the little things, right? And we actually bought one for Palmer when we were there, and she loves it. So
Oh,
they
cute.
give them those at check-in, and they give you like these fresh, like macaroon cookies, like coconut
Nice.
macaroon cookies. It's just very hospitable and accommodating, is
I
what I would
love
say.
all of that. I
Yeah,
love a
it's really
fancy
fun.
check-in process. I'm like, I've been
Yes,
checking all day. Give me my champagne.
that's right.
And
Give me my champagne. I need some
yeah.
more of that rum punch.
Yeah.
And it's like open air. So it's like an open air lobby. It's very, very nice.
Love open air lobbies.
I know.
Okay, let's talk about the rooms. I did some brief research and it looked like most of them, if not all of them, have like a kitchenette or a kitchen, and some even have laundry. Is this true?
Yes, it is true. So we've never stayed in one that has laundry, but every room we've stayed in, I think it's a junior suite, has a kitchenette, which is
That's so
so
cool.
nice because you have a grocery store right across the street. It's like an IGA right across the street. So you can do snacks, sandwiches, whatever your heart desires. What we love that for is we will go and get like stuff to make cocktails for the week. Because when you check into Seven Stars, they give you these like large Yeti type water bottles, and they're yours for the week. You can take them home. They're yours forever. And so we will like make cocktails, and that's like our refill drink when we're on the
Yes.
beach.
So you don't have to
'Cause
pay
it's a
for a $20 cocktail.
correct, and it's a public beach. So Grace Bay Beach is technically public beaches, public beach access. You do not feel that way at all. You feel like it's just for your hotel. But with that being said, that allows you to bring cocktails to the beach. So that's kind of like our hack. We will always
Right.
get a drink from like beachside service, and then we'll get a couple of drinks, we'll order lunch, and then we'll also refill with our like
With your
homemade
own
cocktail.
stash.
Yeah. So it
In
helps
the
offset the price.
Yeah, for sure, because Turks and Caicos is so expensive, like food and drink. So
So
across the
expensive.
street, the grocery store, can you buy like liquor there, or do you have to go
Yep.
to another place? Oh, so that's
Nope.
all in the same
It's
place.
all in the same place.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's all in the same place. And we always laugh about this because last time we were there, we bought, alcohol and things, so you couldn't like carry it all back. It was
It's
more
like
like
heavy.
a
Yeah.
grocery cart, yeah. But you can walk your grocery cart back to your hotel. So they keep your ID. You like grocery cart your items back to your room, and then you take it back and get your ID back.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So there's all these people like
There's all
schlepping
these people,
bottles of
yeah.
alcohol in
That's
grocery
right. But
carts.
it's great because it's like a full service grocery store and you can do that and then return the shopping cart. It's the
Yes.
funniest
Oh
thing.
my gosh, great
But that's a
tips.
great thing about Seven Stars is your proximity to a grocery store. The Palms is not as close to the grocery store.
Well, and I'm sure when you were on your adults only trips, you didn't like, cook that many meals or whatever, because the best
Right.
part about being on an adults only trip is that you don't have to cook or do anybody's laundry. But
Absolutely.
in thinking about bringing kids there, that is such a game changer to be able to just like do a thing of mac and cheese one night for them,
Yep.
or even make like your whole family like a pasta. Again, I do not like to cook on vacation if I don't have to, but with the cost of this trip, if people are trying to make it work, that's one way to
Absolutely.
really save a couple nights instead of taking everybody out to dinner. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we like what we would always do, or what we do at Seven Stars is you get free breakfast a lot of times with your like stay. And it
It
is
looks
like,
like it's almost always breakfast is included in my
yeah, and it's
research.
a full spread. I mean, it is like brunch. It is so good. So what we do is we get up in the morning, we'll have like a granola bar workout, and then we have like a later breakfast. So we'll do like 10:30. So you like basically you're having lunch.
Yes, I love
And so
that
then that
move.
kind of like tackles lunch, and then we'll have like a later lunch and share it
Yeah.
on the beach. But yeah, with kids, you can make a sandwich and just pack it. So you have
Yeah.
everything you need.
Yeah, I did read that breakfast is pretty much always included. And that's funny when Joe and my husband went to a super swanky resort in St. Lucia called Sugar Beach, which is like
Yes,
my favorite adults only.
amazing.
It's not adults only. Kids can go there, but I wouldn't bring a kid there because there's not that much to do. But anyways, it is like one of my favorite resorts of all time. The food is insanely expensive. Like some of these Caribbean islands, because they've got to bring all the food on and it's
Yep.
mostly just tourists, it's like just shockingly expensive.
Yeah. And you're
And
stuck
so
there. So you have no
yeah.
choice.
Yeah. So we also did that free breakfast move. We would be like, let's eat breakfast. We'll sit down at 11. And then we'd like load up. And then like sometimes we'd share a snack later on the beach or whatever. And then like
Yeah.
go to dinner. But it was basically our lunch.
Yeah. You have to get creative, but it works.
Yeah. And the kitchenettes, they have a fridge, a microwave, and a cooktop. So there's a
Yep.
lot of options there for
Yep.
people. Um, let's talk price because it is expensive, just like a lot of these fancy hotels in places like Turks and Caicos. I looked up some pricing. I was like, let's say I wanted to go for fall break, which is still a ways away in October,
Yeah.
but could be considered a more expensive week just because people do have fall breaks. And it looked like it was $1,400 a night for a junior suite, which is the room that you guys have booked before.
Yeah.
Um, but I found out that it's on the Amex travel portal. Like I said, I'm a Chase girly right now, so I have the Chase travel portal. It's not on that. But if you're an Amex card holder, you can book, use points to book through your Amex travel portal. You can book through Amex points on the travel portal. It's also on Costco right now, which I went through the Costco process last night, Costco travel, and put everything in and pretended I was going to go on fall break. And randomly, the only room it gave me for a family of five, the only room pulled up was the 3 bedroom. It said contracted rate, the 3 bedroom unit for fall break pulled up at $1,500 a night. So on the Seven Stars website, currently the junior suite is $1,400 a night. I'm not joking. I could get the 3 bedroom for $1,500 a night last night, including breakfast and airport transfers. It was like 10K. I was almost like, should I book this right now for fall
I'm
break?
thinking maybe I need to go book it.
Yes.
Like,
So all
that's
y'all, I don't know
crazy.
how long these things last. I don't know how Costco
That's
Travel does
amazing.
things, but check Costco Travel for Seven Stars because it's on there right now. And maybe if
It's
I
a
didn't
great
put
hack.
in 5 people, maybe it would have given me other room options. But I was a
Yeah.
little like ding, ding, ding. So that's another good one.
Yeah, that's a
How
great
has
hack.
the price been for you guys in the past?
So I would say the most expensive trip we had was probably when we did the Palms because we just paid like standard rack rate. I would have to go back and look at the two at Seven Stars, but I know it was around 650 or less a night.
Great, because you
Which
used that Cyber Monday
Cyber
40% off
Monday.
deal.
Yeah. Maybe maybe max would be like 700 to 800 a night, but I really don't think that we paid that.
Yeah, you're like
Everything's
the
been like
1K a night is where you remember like that. I feel like that's like St. Lucia. Although I think St. Lucia
right.
was even up to 750 to 800 because once you get into that 1K, you're like, okay, this is a lot of money per night. So
A
I feel
lot
like
of
you'd
money.
remember that.
Yes, yeah. No, I think it was like more 650, but the hack is Cyber Monday,
Okay, good to
which I
know.
was looking on their website the other night too. And like I think some of the dates that are further out are more affordable. You can kind of play with their calendar and kind of see like the rates.
Yeah.
Um, but Cyber Monday is the trick. But you have to be like locked in on those dates. So Cyber Monday, whatever you purchase, there's like no refunds, no
It's like a
cancellations.
non-refundable thing. Okay,
So
good to
you have
know.
to be like locked in. So it's good to do it in like summertime. Like May is usually when we had gone prior.
Yeah, when there
It's just
aren't
a
as many
great time to go.
conflicts.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, are we going to Turks and Caicos? No, we're not.
I
This
know.
podcast always makes me dream so big. Okay, the grounds. Tell us about the pools and the beach.
The pools are great. I will tell you, we are not a pool family. I mean, with kids, we're definitely a pool family, but Jay is like sun up. Jay is my husband. Sun up, sunset kind of guy on the beach. Like he's just a beach guy. The beaches at Turks and Caicos are amazing. They're the best beaches we've ever been to. It's very clean. It's like white sand, very fine, soft sand. There's beach chairs all along the beach with service. So they set up your chairs. There's never like 2 rows of chairs. We've never gone down where we can't like see the ocean. It's not like going to 30A where it's like you're stacked back. Towels and chair service provided. And so we hang out at the beach most of the day. But
So
the
you
water,
said it was a
oh, go
public
ahead.
beach, but
Yes.
there is still like resort services and everything, but like someone else could walk up and plop down if they wanted to.
Yeah. I don't know if they could walk up and like plop down on a chair. Perhaps they could.
Probably not on a chair, but maybe like on their own towel or something.
Yeah, on their own towel. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
But we've never seen or felt that.
Okay. Got it.
It's always been people that are specific to staying at the resort, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You were going to say something else about the beach and then I interrupted you.
Oh, the water in the ocean is so calm. So it's basically like pool water and it's like bath water in terms of temperature. But it feels very safe for kids. Like you're not worrying about undercurrents and riptides and waves and
Amazing. That came
it's
up
just
on the other
normal.
beaches episode, like the rebuttal episode where the two girls loved it, Beaches, Turks and Caicos. They were saying that, like, for some of us who are used to going to 30A, it is like red flag. Like, oh my gosh, my child can't even go on past their knees. I mean, I
Yes,
love 30A, it's gorgeous, but she said
it's
that there,
nerve.
it's almost crazy. You like almost can't even boogie board because it's so calm and she
So
feels so
calm.
safe with her kids just like playing and swimming, which sounds absolutely lovely to me.
It's lovely. It's lovely. And some of the resorts have like a trampoline in the middle of the ocean. I think Seven Stars also has one. I think last trip we went, the
Those like
ladder was
saucers
broken.
that you can sit on or like
Yeah,
an
like the
inflatable thing?
saucer or
Yeah.
like no, an actual inflatable trampoline, like for the kids that
Oh
they
my
can like
gosh.
bounce on and jump into.
The kids would love
Um,
that.
yeah, and it was really fun for the adults. But I think last trip
You're like, we did it.
we did it. I think last trip the ladder was broken, but it's
Oh, okay.
really fun.
Okay. And then it looked like there were maybe two pools, a family pool and an adults only pool.
Yes. Yes. Very I would say it's very similar feel to like Grand Lakes. Not as big. But like, cabanas, beach chairs, it's really not that crowded
And
again
it's
because
like
it
a
is
chill. It seems like I haven't been there, but it seems
very
like from the
chill.
photos, it's like chill again, kind of like boutique feel, nice pool, but it's not like the, chaos of an all-inclusive pool where there's like games and volleyball and swim at
Correct.
bars and all
Very
that kind of
calm.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very like Ritz JW calm.
Yeah.
And everything is spread out. So there's like you're not on top of people. I think on the adults only pool, it's not secluded, but more protected in terms of like privacy, with like the row of chairs. I think the adults pool, if I recall correctly, does face the beach. So you can
Nice.
still kind of get beach views, with some privacy bushes added
Yeah.
in.
Pretty. Sounds
Yeah,
pretty.
it's beautiful.
And then I saw that there's also like kayaks, paddle boards, Hobie cats, and snorkel gear. That's all kind of included if you want to grab one and use
Yep.
it.
Yep, you grab it and use it. We did paddle boarding last time. I'm terrible at paddle boarding. Gives me complete
It's
anxiety.
so intimidating. And like, you're
It's
like,
so
everyone on the beach is
intimidating.
like just kind of watching me right now because they've got nothing else to do. And you're like, please don't fall in.
Yes, and I always get stuck and feel like I'm getting drifted off to sea. It's just not a good situation for me. But Jay really enjoyed it. If you want to embarrass yourself, it's a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it's like a good workout too. Last time I did it on a
Great
lake,
workout.
I found that it was easier on my knees. And then when I would try to go to the
Absolutely.
feet, that's where things got dicey.
Absolutely. And they also have those like smaller two-seater catamaran type
Yeah, Hobie
boats
cat.
with Hobie Cat. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's the proper name. And a guide will take you out. So that's kind of fun too, because that's free and
Yeah.
included. But I forgot we did that the first time and it's fun.
The Hobie cat
Yeah, the Hobie Cat.
with a
But we
guide.
had with a guide. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
no,
would be like so screwed if I was on one with that one. I'd be on
no.
another island.
Yeah, exactly. No, with a guide. With a guide.
Okay. And then other resort activities I noticed, and sometimes they list all these on the website, and it's like, is all this really there? Because sometimes you're like, wait, how do we do these things? But it said they had tennis and pickleball, which I love both of those, a gym, a spa, and a kids club. So do all of those seem like easy to use and access?
Yes, the tennis and pickleball is very popular. We've never played, but every morning when we go to the gym, it's always someone's out there playing. A lot of
Fun.
times it's pickleball, which is
Yeah.
cool. I think there's two courts. They do have a kids club. We've obviously have never used it because we haven't brought the kids, but we've seen it. The gym is very nice and accommodating. We have never gone to the spa at Seven Stars. I'm sure it's lovely. I will tell you the spa at the Palms is amazing. And I think it's won a lot of awards. So that would be
Nice.
another option if you were going and staying at a different resort. The Palms has a fantastic spa.
Okay, good to know. I did look up the kids club briefly and it looked like people really like it. It's simple and small, kind of like what we've been saying. It's like a one room, it's kind of like brightly painted. There's some activities and games and things to do. And I guess, from some reviews I read, the people who work in there are just like really lovely and upbeat and they run a lot of like games and activities. So, it's not Cargo Bay on the Disney Wish cruise ship, which is, unbelievable, but it is maybe a place for them to just have some fun and entertainment for a couple hours. But I don't think it's like one of those places where, they're caring for the kids all day type thing. At least I feel like my
Correct.
kids wouldn't want to be there all day. You're in
Right.
Turks and Caicos, like you kind of want to be on the beach, but it is an
Absolutely.
option. Are they running? I'm assuming the answer is no, but are they running any sort of activities throughout the day, like around the pools or on the beach, or is it kind of more of a chill vibe?
Chill.
Yeah.
Chill vibe. Yep.
Okay.
If there are activities, I am not aware of any.
Yeah.
But no, it's very chill.
Yeah.
It's chill, quiet, relaxing.
One of the reviews said it's small, quiet, and swanky. And I was like, ooh, I like that.
Yep. That's a great review.
All right, let's move into dining. It looks like there's a fancy restaurant and then maybe like an outdoor deck type restaurant. So we'll start with on resort and then we can move to off resort dining. But what is the on resort dining like?
So the fancy restaurant, I'm drawing a blank on the name.
Seven?
Seven, yes. Okay,
It's,
so
I think
you
it's
have
just seven
yeah, so you have breakfast every morning in seven. So
with your
we've
free breakfast
never
buffet.
with your free breakfast buffet, yes. So we've never taken advantage of eating at seven because it just feels repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's kind of in the middle of the property, so you don't really get like a beach view or any perks of like outdoor seating. So it's just never been at the top of our list.
It gave
They
me like
have,
fancy country club vibes when I saw the pictures.
yes, you're exactly right. Like I think we've gone there after dinner for a cocktail, which I think is appropriate. But for dinner, we like want to leave because that's the thing about Turks and Caicos that we love is you can leave the resort safely to go have dinner somewhere else, which is
Okay.
um as far as the deck at Seven Stars, we love the deck. The beach service lunch is also coming from the deck, so just keep that in mind. But the food is so good. We eat that every day for lunch. And then there's typically one or two nights that we will have dinner at the deck just because it's easy.
It's just like
Um,
outdoor, easy, like,
Outdoor, easy,
yeah.
open air. I think sometime a couple of nights a week they'll have music, but yeah, it's just easy. Um,
I love a meal on a beach or at a pool chair. I'm like,
it's so good.
the club sandwich or the fish tacos or the
It's just
chicken quesadilla, bring it my way.
yeah, and they have the sushi roll there. It's like a tuna sushi roll, and it is the best sushi roll I've
Yum.
ever had. And so I usually
Nice.
get that like every day.
Nice.
But yeah, we usually eat there like at least twice for dinner. They do have a new restaurant called The Farm, which is like organic farm to table. Again, we've never eaten there. It was new last time we were there, but I've heard great reviews about that.
Got it. So
So you've
three
got
restaurant
three
options on
restaurants.
site.
Yeah. But you're kind of near a lot of restaurants where you are on Grace Bay in terms of like location of Seven Stars, and you're close to like the Salt Mills shopping center. But our favorite restaurant that we went to last time is Infiniti. So
Okay.
it's an Infiniti restaurant and it's at Grace Bay Club.
Which
And
is
Grace,
another nice fancy resort.
yes, amazing.
I've heard it's like super desirable. Yeah.
Super desirable and super expensive.
Yes.
But it's great to go eat dinner there.
So what's
What
Infinity Restaurant like in the Grace Bay Club?
oh, it's beautiful. So it's everything's kind of outdoor seating vibes. So it's great to go, at sunset. It's like the best sunset views. Some of your seating is like on the beach, which is just beautiful,
Awesome.
desirable. It's like open air with like string lights and lanterns, and just the vibe and the aesthetic is just, it's
Like
amazing. You should
fancy open air dining.
fancy open air dining, yes, and the best food and best service.
Like what do you eat there?
We got some type of seafood, but it kind of felt like it wasn't fine dining, but just like a step above, just like a casual beach dining
Yeah.
experience. Really good food, really good service. Honestly, the food probably could have been terrible, but the ambiance and the service would have made it felt like this is great.
Yeah,
Um,
fun like date night vibes. How do
yes.
you get there from Seven Stars?
So we walked. You can walk, you can taxi. You can actually, once we went, we realized you could actually walk on the beach to
Oh,
get there.
nice. That's
It's not
cool.
that far from Seven Stars. We did not. We walked like street, to get there, which again, safe, just be aware of your surroundings and be smart. But if you wanted to be even safer, you could just walk on the beach,
Cool.
which is really nice.
Okay, what are some of your other favorite off resort restaurants?
Our other favorite was Magnolia Wine Bar. It's kind of up on this, we'll say hilltop, outdoor dining. It's indoor, outdoor, kind of country club vibes inside, but outside more casual beach dining, nicer beach dining. But the sunset views are incredible. And if I recall correctly, it's kind of like Italian, but also has some like seafood meat dishes as well.
Nice.
And we took a cab there, so I would cab to Magnolia Wine Bar.
Okay.
And all of these, like, you have to have reservations. And so, like, as soon as you have your trip booked, I would get that on your list because like 3 months out, you need to have a reservation or you're
Good to
not
know.
getting in.
Yeah.
Similar with Coco Bistro, you won't get into Coco Bistro unless you have a reservation like months out.
Okay.
Um, People rave about Coco Bistro and love it. We went on our second trip there. The ambiance and the vibe, super cool. It's again, indoor outdoor seating, but you're not on the beach. But lots of string lights and just palm trees, and it's beautiful. But we both got sick after eating
Oh
there, so it
no.
wasn't, yeah, it's not,
Yeah. It's
but
not
I
your
can
favorite
see why,
anymore.
yeah, I can see why people love it. And outside of Coco Bistro, they now have a food truck called Coco Van. And so if you wanted like a fun meal and you didn't have a reservation, you could always go to this like little food truck and you can walk there from Seven Stars as well,
Nice.
which is nice.
Awesome.
The Conch Shack is a really cool, just like vibe experience that everyone should go and experience. And on Wednesday, they have like their fish fry, if you will. It's on the beach. The Kardashians have gone there. You've probably seen pictures, but there's like this huge sign that says the Conch Shack. So it's in like everyone's pictures. But
And let me tell everyone, it's spelled D-A in your notes,
yeah,
like duh,
duh,
conch shack. Yeah.
the Conch Shack. It's just an experience. Is the food again? The food's okay, but you're paying for like the vibe,
Do
right?
you
And you're
sit
sitting
and
on
like
the
have a
beach.
server or walk up to like a window and grab your food and it's all very like casual?
Yeah, great question. No, you have a server. You have
Okay.
a server. Again, I would get a reservation so you have a table, especially if it's on Wednesday, because then they have like their band come. It's a whole vibe.
Is that what you sent me the video of?
Yeah, so that band also plays at the fish fry, and I think the fish fry is every Thursday,
Okay.
but also same band comes to the Conch Shack.
Okay. So the fish fry somewhere else.
Yes, the fish
Okay.
fry is
Okay.
somewhere else.
Got it.
One thing I will say about the Conch Shack is it's a really far taxi ride. So just keep that in mind. Um, which also reminds me, before you ever get in a taxi, set the rate. Say, hey, we're going here. We need you to drop us off and pick us up. What is the rate? You want to negotiate that before you get in the taxi because
Yeah.
they will take you to the bank.
That
We learned
happened
that
in the
quickly.
Bahamas to us when we were on our cruise ship and we got off the cruise ship to go to Atlantis.
Uh-huh.
And it was like this whole fight between my, and I'm like, just pay him. But
I know.
it
We
was
don't want
like
to die.
posted everywhere, like legally, I don't remember what it was, $10 a person, let's say. And then
Yeah.
when we got there, he's like $15 a person. And he like, and Joe was like, no, it's $10 a person. But we hadn't established it, even though we thought we had because there were like signs everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of these island destinations, you do have to kind of hold your ground and be very assertive about cab ride prices.
Yes. And once you like find a good driver in Turks and Caicos or whatever island you're going to, especially if you plan on leaving multiple times, like you want to get their card, their cell phone number, and directly book through them, and you will find that your rate is much better. So we always use a guy named Preacher. The Preacher is what or the
Nice.
Bishop. He goes by the Bishop.
Hilarious.
um,
And do you communicate with him literally through texting or
Text.
through WhatsApp?
I think it was text.
Okay, because I feel like so many of these places, like WhatsApp, is like a
Yeah.
really popular thing out of the country because like you don't have to use cell service fees or something. I don't know. I was just
Yeah.
curious. Sometimes before I go somewhere, people are like, download WhatsApp, and I always mess it up. And I'm like not seeing messages, and like
Yeah.
the transportation company was trying to contact me, and I'm like, oh, WhatsApp stresses me out. But
I think it's text.
okay, great.
But I could be wrong.
So when you
Um,
said like a pretty far cab ride for the Conch Shack, like 10 minutes or like 25 minutes? Like how
uh,
far away?
Probably like 20, 25.
Oh, okay, so it's a ways
It's a
away.
hike. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a hike. I feel like when we went, the cab ride was really expensive and we were surprised, but it's kind of
Okay.
on the other side of the island. And
So
so,
decide if you want the full experience of the Conch Shack or not.
cor correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you can do again, like on Thursdays, I think it's Thursdays, they have the fish fry,
And is that just
which
like a
we
local
love.
thing you're saying? Like Turks has a fish fry. It's not
Yep.
associated with a resort or
Yeah.
anything?
Church, yeah, they have a fish fry. They've moved the location, but it's not far from the resort. Again, we taxi, but like if you stay at beaches, for example, they have like a shuttle that will take their guests to the fish fry. It's like a big thing.
Okay.
And so it's like a local vendor type fair. And so they set up like local vendors and local restaurants will have booths, like, food truck type
Yeah.
tents. The food there is incredible because you're getting like all the local restaurant cuisine and it's cheap. And they
Nice.
do like the local like rum drinks and they'll put them in like coconuts and pineapples and it's like a whole vibe. But you get to experience the culture of Turks and Caicos. And then the band comes at night. It's usually like 9 or 10 when the band comes. So you get like the vibe of like their like customary like music and dressing and or how they dress, and it's
Yeah.
cool.
Faith sent me a
Um,
video and it's like very like authentic, local, like fun. I don't want to say costumes, but like dress and instruments and kind of like chanting, and it looked really fun.
yeah. But I will say also again, be cognizant of when you're there, because I would say the last time we went where they've changed location, it's dark where there's not like a lot of street lights. So just again being aware of your surroundings.
Keep your
But
purse zipped up. It looked really crowded where you were. You were like trying to get a video and there were like 900 people walking in front of
yes,
you, like trying to get past you. It looked very kind of like tight quarters and
chaos.
crowded.
Yep. But it's a fun experience.
Okay. Do you want to touch on any of these others? You had
Mr.
Mr. Groupers and
Groupers
Omar's.
and Omar's, yeah. So Mr. Groupers is like it's right. Mr. Groupers is right beside the fish fry. It's just like a great fish dive
Yeah,
restaurant.
get an
Like you could
easy
go there
fried
like
fish
one
or
afternoon,
something.
easy fried fish. Yeah. And Omar's is cool. Again, it's in terms of distance, it's not going to be close to Seven Stars, but they're kind of known for they have these tables that like sit in the ocean, if you will. So you can
Fun.
have like food, drinks in the ocean. So it's kind of a fun place to just go and see.
Yeah.
But again, you're going more for like the experience than the food.
Nice. Thank you for all that information.
Yeah.
All the restaurants, we'll put those all in the show notes. So, outside of dining, what other things do you do off the resort in terms of like an excursion or a boat ride or all those types of opportunities?
When we are there, we always do some type of excursion, whether it's a boat ride. Last time we did a boat ride, we did a half day private boat, which was great because
That sounds nice.
it was really nice. Yeah, we actually met a couple the first time we went there. We were like on two different boats, like party boats, if you will, but they were like in a private boat and we were there like on jet skis, maybe. We've done
On a
jet skis.
non-private boat with,
Non-private boat. And they
yeah.
were, but we got our numbers and like they are like Turks and Caicos pros. And so they always kind of refer us to like who they've used. So they use a company called Caicos Dreams.
Caicos Dreams. Okay.
Caicos Dreams. And it was great. It was just the boat for a half day. If you're traveling with, friends or family, it would be great to like do that with them because the boat was obviously big enough for a large amount of people, but it was just Jay and I.
And then you can do what you want. So you can just cruise around, you could jump in and
Yep.
snorkel, you can swim, you can just do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. They'll take you wherever you want. Jay loves to snorkel. I do not, but they literally like drop anchor in the middle of the ocean and you just snorkel in the middle
That
of the
is
ocean.
so cool. I love to
Yeah.
snorkel also. Is there like food on board, drinks on board, or like
Yes,
what's,
both.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was like light snacks. And for the half day, I'm sure for a full day, you could probably do like a full lunch situation, but drinks were on board. It was great.
Awesome.
And then we also did Big Blue Collective. You can do a few different things, but we did the mangroves. So we did a mangrove eco kayak tour, which was
Nice.
really cool. They weren't like a glass bottom kayak, but it was cool to kind of go through the mangroves and see the wildlife, and all of these turtles would come up. It was really cool. And you also do a picnic lunch through them. So they take you to like this little remote island and dock and kind of walk around. And there are iguanas everywhere. So they're known kind of for all the iguanas on the island.
I love kayaking. It feels like you're like in the water, like one with the water. And our kids are like obsessed with kayaking now too. And it's such a good family excursion because if you've got any
Yeah,
littles, you can, a parent can be with a little, or the older ones now can kind of do it by themselves. So that
right.
sounds like a really good one with kids.
Yeah, it was a really good experience. It was a great workout.
Yeah, I'm
Like
sure.
double. We've done two tours with a company called Island Vibes Tours. Those are more of your bigger tours. You're going to be with other resorts. But what's great about Island Vibes, so you can do half day tours. They come directly to your resort beachfront pickup. So they will come straight to Seven Stars and there's like a dock and you hop on the boat and then they bring you.
Nice. That's
The
awesome.
first part of the tour is a snorkel. And then after that, they take you to Iguana Island. So you get to see all the iguanas and explore the island. And then after that, it turns into like the party boat where then they bring out the rum punch and the lunch and they've got a slide going off the boat. And it's, again, just a vibe. Um, but they come highly recommended on the island. They're probably one of the most popular like party boat
And
situations.
is that like adults only, it sounds like? maybe?
No, you can actually take kids.
Okay.
You can do it with kids, but just be mindful of
Yeah.
the rum flowing.
Island vibes. Okay, got
Island
it.
vibes. And we've also done like jet ski tours where you can take out a jet ski for a half day on your own, which is really fun. So we took a jet ski out for a few hours and we went to like boat wreck. So there's a ship there that's considered a shipwreck, if you will. It's like a big cargo ship. And you can go out to it. It's cool. You can see it from the airplane too as you're like flying into TCI. But some people will want to like jump off of said ship into the water. I would not recommend that because you will get tetanus for sure. Um, but it's cool to jet ski too.
Yeah, around it and just look at it and not jump off
Around
of
it, just
it.
look at it. Yeah, admire the rusted boat in the middle of the ocean. But do not climb up said boat, but people do that. So
Oh my gosh, fun. You guys have done so much on the island. Do you typically figure this stuff out via your friends and on your own, or is your travel agent booking these excursions for you?
initially Rachel, my travel agent, would booked Island Vibes. So she'll like give recommendations like these are the companies that I've worked with. This is who I would book. And she will book that. Anything we want to do, she will handle, which is great. When we booked Big Blue Collective, it was kind of like a last minute thing on the island. We decided we wanted to do something, and that's kind of what we landed on. And same thing with Caicos Dreams. Once I like got the referral from my friend, we just booked them last minute on the island. But Rachel's great because anything you book, she kind of builds your itinerary and she has an app. So when you're there, you know, your day is planned out on the app and it shows exactly like, okay, this is when your tour is, this is when your dinner reservation is.
Awesome.
Yeah. And even if you book it, you can send it over to her and it will kind of populate in the itinerary, which is
Lovely.
really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super nice.
Yeah.
Okay, you had sent over some fun facts you wanted to share about Turks, so we're going to call this Fun Facts with Faith. So if
Funny.
you want to just kind of rapid fire go through these fun facts so people know them, and then we can kind of wrap up.
Yes. So probably the most fun fact, we have never seen this dolphin, but there's a national treasure dolphin named Jojo
How
in Turks and
cute.
Caicos. And Jojo hangs around Grace Bay Beach. And it's a he. I always want to say Jojo's a she,
Yeah.
but he's lived in the West Indies since 1980. And now there's a couple of kids in tow.
Oh my
But a lot
gosh.
of the boat, again, we learned this through social media and some of the Turks and Caicos pages. Like if you ask your tour guide, like on your private boat day, like we want to try to find JoJo. Like a lot of times they are able to locate JoJo. And
Wow.
JoJo loves to like chase the boats and like the wakeboarders and all of the fun things that happen on the back of the boat. And it's
That
really
is
cool. If you guys should look
precious.
it up on like social media, and just see the pictures. It's really, really neat. Because there's really not a ton of dolphins in Turks and Caicos.
Oh my gosh, I love it. JoJo's made Turks his home.
Yes, little fun fact. Again, the best time for deals is Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So just be aware of that. It's not all inclusive, but again, my family, we prefer non all inclusive because we want to have the ability to leave the resort. And I think sometimes you pay a lot of money for all inclusive that you otherwise would not spend on food and alcohol.
Right.
Because we've looked at beaches a few times. I think I told you we had beaches booked for fall break, and I just could not wrap my head around the price.
Yeah.
Was just a lot of
I think
money.
that's the hardest thing for people is the price is so high. If you want that all-inclusive experience and you don't want to have to leave and you just want everything to be right there, then it works for a lot of people. But for people who like to explore and get out of that resort, it's like you could maybe go on 2 trips for that price. So it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Or if I'm paying all inclusive prices like that, I want to know that this is like an amazing resort with
Yeah.
amazing service.
Yeah.
But again, that's what is so great about Turks and Caicos and Seven Stars. Like you could leave the resort, you could feel safe about doing that. I would feel safe about doing that with my kids. You just have to be smart. But there's just so much to explore on the island. I feel like you'd just be missing out if you just stayed at your resort.
Yeah.
So
Good to know. Do you think you'll be returning with your kids anytime soon? And if so, would you stay at Seven Stars or would you consider another resort down there that you've seen?
oh my goodness, yes. Well, older kid, is begging to go to Turks and Caicos because she knows when we leave, like you guys are going to Turks and Caicos. I want to go to Turks
Yeah,
and
you're going
Caicos.
without me? Bring me along.
Mhm. And we got her this book last time we were there at the fish fry, and it's like a little kid's book on the history of Turks and Caicos.
Cute.
So we read it often. Yes, we would love to take the kids. It's just finding when and the right price, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not cheap with kids. It's
No.
definitely one of the most expensive Caribbean islands to go to, but we definitely want to return soon and take them. We would go every year if we could make it feasible. So
Yeah. So gorgeous. Okay, Faith, I end every episode with if someone out there is considering a trip to Turks and Caicos, what is it about Seven Stars Resort that would make you say, just book it?
I would just say we have really enjoyed our time going to Seven Stars and Turks and Caicos. The beaches speak for itself and just like ambiance and everything's perfect. But Seven Stars is really hospitable and everything there is so accommodating and they just really take care of everything. And it's been a great experience for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I need to tell everyone to stay tuned for next week because we have a really fun episode coming next week. We're going to do 3 mini trip fails. They're going to be trip fails minisodes because I've had 3 people reach out with trip fails that don't necessarily warrant an entire episode, but they're little experiences that are funny and crazy. One about an experience at a Hyatt that was just not ideal. One about Great Wolf Lodge, which I'm really excited to hear because we haven't done that yet, but I know people have good and bad experiences at those. And one about an Orlando hotel that this girl just felt totally scammed and like she was trying to be taken advantage of the entire time. So it'll be a really fun listen. So everybody stay tuned for that next week. But Faith, thank you so much for being here and for sharing everything you know about Turks and Caicos.
Thank you.
That wraps up another episode of Trip Tales. If you have a trip you'd like to share about on the podcast, email me at triptalespodcast@gmail.com and I'll add you to the schedule. Also, be sure to follow the show so that you don't miss any upcoming vacation destinations. And if you have an extra minute in your day, please leave a review for the podcast. It helps more than you could imagine. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode of Trip Tales.